Before we begin, 3 messages. When my company needed to develop a key mobile product, one that I was counting on as a new source of revenue, I knew exactly who to turn to. Macadamian. They delivered on time with incredible attention to detail, and I was able to get product into customers' hands faster than I ever thought possible. I've personally known them for 10 years, and they do make great products even better. Check them out at www.macadamian.com. Here's a riddle. How do you build native cross-platform mobile applications quickly without having to rewrite code and hire consultants at a huge cost? Titanium from Appcelerator. Called the easy button for mobile application development, it allows you to focus more on what's important, getting product out the door. Join the more than 1.5 million active developers who have created over 13,000 apps at www.appcelerator.com. If you're a freelancer or running your own small business, the one thing you probably wish you could do quicker and easier is invoicing. That's where FreshBooks.com comes in. They take the pain out of invoicing and get you paid faster. Effortlessly create invoices and email them to your clients. They can view them, print them, and even pay you right away with PayPal or any of their 11 other payment gateways. FreshBooks.com can automate late payment reminders and help track your billable hours at the office or while on the go with their apps for iPhone, BlackBerry, and Android. I'm only one of over 2 million really satisfied customers, and you can be one as well, all for free. Just head to www.freshbooks.com and sign up. When you do, be sure to say you heard of them from untether.tv, and one of you, my loyal viewers, will win a birthday cake each and every week. It doesn't even have to be your birthday. Get started today for free at www.freshbooks.com. Hello everybody, welcome to Untether.tv. My name is Rob Woodbridge, and of course this is where we have casual conversations with the mobile rock stars in this industry, and I've got another one. This one, definitely something going on. There must be something in the water, because I've got certainly another company that's innovating in the city of Chicago. And if you guys have been watching the last number of episodes, you will have noticed quite a few Chicago natives being involved in the mobile industry. Good little hub going on there. So today we've got Rob Matthews, who's the president and CEO of AirRun. AirRun, interesting little thing, is a location-based community job hub. Seems simple. We're going to go through what this means, what exactly is a location-based job hub, community job hub is, and we'll actually get Rob to explain this a little bit better than I could ever do it. But live from Chicago, Rob, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So, I got to start this by saying, Chicago seems to be a place that is, there's a lot of activity in the technology scene. I never knew Chicago as a hub of this kind, but lately I've just seen a number of guys like you deciding, hey, listen, we're going to start something in Chicago. Are you seeing at least a little bit of movement in the technology scene in Chicago?
Yeah, I am, and I don't only see it. I hear about it all the time, and it's not like we're a little Silicon Valley, but in a way we kind of are. And
it's a big enough city.
Yeah, and my boss is a tech startup guy, and for my real job, and he just moved out to San Fran, but started in Chicago, and I don't know. Seems like an area to be in if you're in tech.
I love it. I love the fact that that it's spreading out, and especially with mobile, it gives you the ability to be anywhere and do anything. But ultimately, I see a lot of guys picking up from Chicago or other places and heading off to Silicon Valley or New York City. And we'll talk about this. But let's start first with AirRun, because that's what we're here. Not about Chicago, about AirRun. Right. Tell me about AirRun, man. This is a new company. You just launched AirRun a couple of weeks ago. But what is it?
All right, so basically, like you said, we try to sum it up in less than a sentence, and what we came up with is a location-based community job hub. And what it is essentially is a community of seekers, people that want anything, and runners, people that
will do anything
want to make money for anything within reason.
Yes,
bear in mind, and So what a seeker will do, and why we call it a job hub, is because we originally started off as a community errand hub, but we thought that sounded too much like groceries and just kind of put us into one little little area. So we're calling it a job hub, and we hope job kind of is broad enough to really encompass anything. So you want, and like you said in an interview I heard with you earlier this week or last week, where I think a lot of the jobs will come from are mundane tasks and stuff of that nature. While I also don't want to eliminate the idea that, hey, you could post that you want your lawn mowed, or you can post you want your lawn mowed every week, or it's limitless. And what we're trying to do is provide the easiest platform for people to get these tasks completed.
So you basically, if I have a job that I want done, like we'll use this as mowing the lawn. So basically, I log on and I post that job with a price affixed to it, right?
Yeah, you give it a quick in the make it section. There's 4 sections to get your job posted.
Yeah.
You hit post, and then there's the make it section. You give it a quick title, a quick description, like, hey, I want my lawn mowed on Wednesdays. I'll provide the mower. That's it. And then where it is. And then where it is very important to us because that's the first time you type in an address. And Google is so great about providing addresses and linking up where you're actually saying, even as you're as vague as some people may be. But, it just pretty much nails it every time, and we provide the opportunity to make sure it did later on. But then it goes into the map it section where you post where that job is, where, let's say if it wasn't lawn mowing, let's say where you'd ideally like someone to buy something from, like let's say Costco has a bunch of bulk items, like you want water from there because it'll be cheapest, you won't have to pay the most. So you map it, and then you go into setting the price and when you want the item. So most typically it defaults to less than a half hour. So because most people want whatever they're looking for, especially mundane tasks, right away.
Yeah.
So you type that in. You type in how much you think it's going to cost, and if you don't know, you simply type "you don't know," or you tap the "you don't know" button on the scroll wheel, and just to give the runner an idea of what they may have to be spending, and how much the runner tip, or we're changing it from in our next update to runner fee.
Yes.
Or no, runner. No, we're changing it to runner fee as opposed to runner tip, because it's just less confusing.
Yeah, it's a fixed cost. And it's not like a gratuity on top, right?
Right, and then that's something our users have told us is somewhat confusing. So that's being pumped out in our next update.
Yeah.
As soon as Apple approves it, and from there, your jobs you go over the mapping and everything, and if you like it, then you post it, and it goes out into the marketplace in either a list view or a dynamic kind of map view.
And then so from that's the job seeker, like the job seeker, and then the runner. How does that end work from the runner's perspective? So I've posted that job. Say I need water, bottled water, tub of water from Costco, and I've set in that parameter. What happens on the other side?
Okay, so just to end the seekers thing, like that's what we wanted for seekers. Like, you post your job, and then you're pretty much done. Like, it's not in your hands anymore, and it's in the hands of somebody that's looking to do work. And so from the home page, there's a me screen and a marketplace screen. There's 2 tabs at the bottom.
Yep.
And the me screen acts as primarily right now as a place for seekers to just start their job. The marketplace screen is just completely catered towards runners and what they have to, what they're interested in, and that's making money. So you get prompted right when you go into the marketplace view. There's a list view, which we thought would be ideally the most common place for users to find jobs, because you can sort it by price or by. In our next update we have coming out in it's got to be like a week or so. Apple tends to
take their time. Yes.
Yeah, they take their time, but they've been reliable with us so far. So you'll be able to pick your distance. Like you'll be able to say, okay, I want, and as a filter, like I want, I'd like to see the most expensive jobs in the area, but I want to specify my area as being a mile or a
Yeah.
square or 3 miles, or that's not something we have right now. Right now, it's just 50 miles flat out from wherever you are.
So it's that's the radius right now, but you're going to have that adjusted with the next release.
Yeah, and that's more feedback that we got from our users that like, hey, I want to see, I wanted the best job, but I don't want to go from Chicago to Toledo, Ohio, and get somebody
For $10. Yeah, exactly.
get some hungover college kids some orange juice because he wants to pay $20 for it.
It's, well, yeah. Saturday mornings are always good because that's really where you get the biggest push in dollars from
Oh yeah.
college. So, I mean, so you've got that radius. You're looking for jobs in that, and you can, so what happens when you find something that you want?
Yes, so you've got that list view, and if you want to just see a more over like more dynamic view of like what's around you, and maybe you want to hit like 3 jobs at the same time, then
Yeah.
I'd probably go into like map view and kind of concentrate it and sign up for 3 different jobs in there.
Yeah.
But then once it's complete, you go to you apply for the job, and then a push notification gets sent directly to the seeker saying, "Hey, this person applied for your job." You can then, as a seeker, go in and check the guy's rating and his profile, and that's kind of our how we're making it. We want to make it as social as possible, just so people can really get the down and dirty on who everybody is right away.
Yeah.
Like no, like having somebody appear at your door that you
Somebody undesirable yeah, yeah.
right. You put your picture up there. We want people to be as real as they can be, so it just is as effective as it can be.
Yeah. And so they do the job. They pick up whatever it is that the seeker is actually posted, and they just walk up and they accept cash or PayPal or any kind of other kind of payment, and then they walk away. They drop off the goods and leave, right?
Right, so yeah, the runner fronts
The cash. Yeah.
the cash, and I mean we've been having some time struggling with this on whether to institute a whole credit system or how to get into that game, but we figure like if as of right now, if you have an iPhone, you're probably willing to or capable of shelling out like some money that you will get back immediately
Yeah.
from the process, and so you just hold your tip and or your receipt and bring it to the runner or the seeker, and then that's where it gets like a little more interesting, I think, is because you can pay by these days with Square and everything that they're doing. You can pay somebody with a credit card that I mean I applied for a credit card reader the other day and got one in the mail and didn't have to pay a cent for it. So it's a pretty interesting process. Or you can just
Fork over some cash.
fork over
Good
some
old
cash.
fashioned cash.
Yeah, and that's all easily explained in the comments and or in your description. Like just be as descriptive as you can, and you'll get exactly what you want out of the job. Like come mow my lawn. I have the mower. I'll pay you $50 cash every week. It just makes it easier. And then if it is a little vague, then you can be a runner and say, hey, I'm interested in your job.
Elaborate on it.
Less words, because who wants to say, hey, so and so in a text message? But like you can kind of be like, well, do you accept cash and so and do this all before you apply for the job, and you get notifications pushed to your phone, and it keeps the conversation really active and upbeat.
So why? I mean, I got to ask. I mean, I think that I want to dive into a little bit more of the business in a minute, but I want to ask, what was the reason that I mean, how did you come up with this idea? So it seems logical. You're matching people who have a little bit of spare time or might be in proximity to somebody else's needs. Hey, let's do this. But what was it about the like? You're building a business around this. What was the reason you started?
Well, I actually started it 2 years ago when I was in college. As I was in an iPhone development class, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. I can take a class that's just focused around iPhone development, and um, what it turned out to be is this kind of like business model oriented class where you would create a business plan. And because I had no idea how back then, it was like when these apps were first coming out, like I thought like, oh, I'm gonna get into a class, I'm gonna program something in a semester, and just whip it out there. But it was more of like a creation class and an idea generating class. And for my business plan, I came up with this idea, and it's based around how I lived all throughout college and how I saw other kids living. Oop,
Yeah.
hold on one second. I got my away screen. Um, but I figured like jobs in college campuses, or jobs for college kids, they're not perfectly structured for the college lifestyle. Like even on a part-time basis, like you don't know how much homework you're going to have, or
Yeah.
you don't know signing up a week in advance for a next Thursday little soup kitchen run that you're going to have, or like little kitchen job you have. You don't know like what other stuff is going to get in the way. And I just feel like having something that you can just do whenever you want on your own time. Like let's say you have 3 hours to do something, that all right, spend 3 hours running, maybe make like $50. Or suppose you have like 1 hour you're running because you like to exercise and you want to multitask. I mean, I just figured this is the perfect opportunity.
So it's kind of like burstable time. Like you have that extra time instead of sitting in front of the television set or doing something else. You might as well just go out, or say you're at Costco, right? And
Yeah.
you might as well leverage your time, do somebody else's grocery shopping for you at the same time, right? For them
Right.
at the
Yeah.
same time. So
Yeah.
you're making efficient use out of the hours in the day, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, this is revolutionary thinking, especially from a university student, simply because you're right. I mean, maybe a job doesn't fit into the schedule. Maybe you just can't carry a part-time or a full-time job. Some people do, and it ends up being fairly difficult for some people to maintain. So why not let them earn on their downtime, right?
Right. Exactly.
So when you thought this through and you bounced this off of other people, you said, hey, listen, is this something, you're sitting in college, for example, or university, and you're bouncing this off your buddies. They must think that, well, that's perfect. Like, I'll take 3 hours, make $50.
Right. Yeah. I tend to get good feedback from it, and I've got a lot of my friends are pretty harsh critics, so it's been kind of nice the last couple of months having something that I can talk about freely and positively about.
So you set out in August to start development, last August of 2010.
Mhm.
You launched a couple of weeks ago, so that's maybe a 6-month development process.
Yeah.
Did you do the development, or was it somebody else, or was it?
No,
were you
I
working with
didn't. I
somebody?
I actually had one of my roommates in college started an iPhone application development company in Chicago,
Yeah.
and it just made sense to use them. And we've been working with them. Like I go in there for meetings every week, and we bounce ideas back and forth off each other. And I've been pretty engaged in the development process, but I don't know any coding on my own or anything.
Yeah.
I designed the website. That's about it.
So, I mean, tell me about this. Is that are you funding this yourself? Are you like, is this coming out of pocket, or because it's a friend, are they helping you out? I mean, as typically you hope, the community supports the entrepreneurs in that community.
Right. Yeah, they're helping me out a bit, but they are a startup, and they're
They're there
three
to make money.
three 25-year-olds that are eager to make money, but they've also been doing an amazing job. And yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I'm funding it by myself.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's typical of what you see. I mean, bootstrapping is pretty difficult,
Oh,
especially.
and I'm sorry, my buddy Ben is also funding it with us.
Okay. Yeah, you can't leave your buddies out of this. Right? I mean, let's go back here a second. AirRun, is it how many people are you working with in AirRun?
6.
6 people?
Yeah.
And how did you come up with a team? Is it are you guys a good mix? Do you guys have the same skills or the different skills?
We're a great mix, and we have completely different skills.
Awesome. That's perfect.
I went to school for marketing, and I hate like finance and nitty gritty stuff and numbers. And my buddies our one of our vice presidents is a financial advisor, and he does all that stuff. He got us set up as a corporation. He talks with lawyers. I can't. I have a hard time with that as well. And I'm more of just like the kind of idea guy and creative director almost.
But it just seems like that. So, what were some of the challenges that you had as you were building this out? Because it starts with an easy idea, which is, hey, I'm going to match a guy who wants a job with a guy who needs a job. Seems simple. Going to put some location around that. Seems simple. Then you started to allude to it a little bit around. Okay, now what about payment? And how do you make sure that people are trustworthy, both on the buyer and the seller side, right?
Yeah.
So guy
Right.
buys all this stuff for you, and then it's a prank, and you've spent the money on. So I mean, when you set out with a simple idea, seems simple. You're knee deep in development, and all of these things start coming up. Were there a lot of challenges like that as you were going through this?
Yeah, and initially we just wanted to push it out there, but it's still our philosophy. We kind of pushed it out there just to get it out there, get user feedback. We want to be known as a company that's really engaged with our users and
Yep.
making the product as perfect for them as possible. So yeah, we've got stuff coming out like, for instance, in the commenting section, which we're going to come up with a more enticing name for.
I like the marketing spin on that. The commenting section. It's great.
Right. Yeah. Where the users interact with each other, we're gonna institute a place where you can, with your iPhone, you can take a picture, and that can be of like, let's say you want your dry cleaning picked up. Okay. Well, nobody's gonna let some random guy pick up an Armani suit for no reason. So you can take a picture of the receipt or of the ticket you have, and present that to the
Oh yeah.
to the dry cleaner, which doesn't go as far as like being able to pick up someone's prescription drugs, but we've figured that that's just not really necessary right now.
No, I mean you can have a hard time doing those kind of things. I mean there are regulations out there that you're not allowed to
Right.
pick up your prescription drugs, and people will look at you a little bit sideways if you're trying to pick up, as you said, an Armani suit without a receipt, or
Right.
maybe even with a photo of a receipt. It'll be a challenge. So it's when you run into those situations, it's easy to say, well, look, these are the 10 things that I wouldn't recommend you source out because it's not going to work. Somebody's going to go there out of vain. Let's talk about the payments for a second, because that seems, when I saw this, that seems to be that's the biggest challenge, I would assume, because matching people in jobs, if people are looking, they're going to find it. If people need a job done, they're going to post it. But the payment process is always a challenge because you're asking the person to go out and pay ahead of time. So I'm doing a job. I'm going to pick you up some water or some shaving cream or whatever it is. So I pay for it out of my own pocket, and then it's 100% faith that I'm going to knock on that door and somebody's going to pay me and the fee, right?
Yes.
So
And
how do you deal with that? Like that's
so-
one of the big sticking points, right? Like, you got me until like, you know what, I'm going to out of my own pocket. I mean, then I wonder, is there a more efficient way, or are you thinking of a different way to be able to accept payments or to process payments?
well, right now we're sticking strictly to a rating system like an eBay or not Craigslist, like an eBay.
Yep.
And we're really hoping that weeds out the potential problems that will occur and are occurring, and on a minor scale. But
Yeah.
we feel that as the user gets more and more involved, and there's a couple things how we're combating this. The rating system is something that like we want our users to cherish and just completely put their faith in. And then another thing we're doing is instituting a friend tab, where you see right now we have recent connections on the Me screen.
Yep.
You can't really do anything with that yet right now. So we're gonna add another tab where you can make those users your friends, and those users, you'll be able to read up on their profile. We're going to add more profile options, and basically just rely on descriptive profiles and the rating system to weed out the evil iPhone users that are trying to con their way to make a couple bucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we think by connecting people on a more regular basis, making it more social, will be the best route to take.
You know, it's funny if you, most people are there. Some companies like TechCrunch or media companies have gone to Facebook comments, right, so that it's weeded out all of the garbage comments, all the garbage posts, the anonymous posts. And I wonder if you tie into something like Facebook as a user identifier, then it kind of limits that scope of fraud, so to speak, because if you sign in with Facebook, you've identified who you are in a way that allows you to have your identity known, so that you're a known person.
Yeah, right. And you just keep on bringing up points that I forget to bring up, and
that's good. I'm glad. We didn't even rehearse this.
No. one thing that's coming in we have buckets of so-called like desires for the app within our developers kind of community that we have, and in our second bucket, after this next release comes out, we're hoping to not hoping, we're going to completely integrate with Facebook and make it so that even on the lower scale, like if you posted a job, you can post that to Facebook, or if someone did a job well, you can be like, oh, post that to Facebook, and that's something that we're working hand in hand with our marketing company and our PR company, and they think that that'd be a great idea to kind of give a person a more substantial presence than what they have currently by just giving their picture, a username, and a couple different descriptions.
Yeah, like I think that it's interesting to watch this because there's a level of a product that is, as you said, you want to get a product up and out. And in use, so you can get some user feedback if you're going down that right path. And mobile certainly is a really easy way to start developing quickly, get a product out, and then get some feedback, without a shadow of a doubt. And you're getting out a product that's just good enough. So you get it out, you run it, you see what you can do, and then you're in a constant state of improvements, right?
Yes.
And that's what that's the greatest part of software, is that you can do that, minus the week or so that it takes to go through the approval process, but certainly with Apple. But what you're doing is in my opinion, the right way of doing this is get a product out, test the waters, and then listen to the features that people want to use, and then start implementing these gradually over the next little while, which is probably very effective. So I got to ask you, how do you guys make cash with this?
Right now, we're just solely taking the route that we're just trying to build a user base as substantial as possible, and we're not trying to trick anybody into paying more money than they do within using our service. And
so there's no fee right now.
There's no fee at all right now, but we do plan on instituting something in the next month or two, but it'll be so small scale, and it won't affect. What I really want out of it is that it won't affect runners at all. Like, you don't want to be running and doing runs to try to stay above your amount that you're paying the app to use it, because then people will just say like, hey, you did a great run for me. Let's just talk outside the app next time. And I'm not interested in that at all. So
that's an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it won't be a hassle. It'll be something that's inside the app, and the reason I'm being so vague about it is we don't really know how or if we even will implement something like that.
So, I mean, at some point, you said earlier that you've got a day job, and this is your real passion.
Yes,
you've got an income, and then you've got this. But there's a point in time where you want to flip that, where this is what you want to be doing full time, right? Starting these kinds of companies, rolling these kind of companies out in the mobile space, or just even using AirRun as a launching pad. So you got to start at some point to make money, right?
Right, but I can't say that I don't love my other job, and
No, you have to say it.
won't say that over there.
No, exactly.
But
There's no doubt there.
no, I like what I like where I'm at right now, and
Yeah,
I like what I'm doing, and I hope for this to explode and
yeah,
maybe offer some potential money making ideas. Like we've come up with a couple ideas, but I'd rather not
that's
go into
fine.
them now. But yeah, I'm satisfied with where it's at, and I think that building something that in my mind can is so huge in scale potentially could really raise attention even from like maybe the president of the United States.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's what like. How can you move the economy forward, right? Like,
Yeah, how's Rob Matthews moving the economy forward, and how is he creating more jobs than any president ever
God, you
was
know
it?
what, Rob? I'd love to see you in the keynote. In the State of the Union address next January, saying, and it's guys like Rob Matthews and his site AirRun and his app AirRun that
Right.
$1 at a time. I mean,
Exactly.
but you know what? It does. It picks up the fluff or the people's excess time and gives them an opportunity to be able to go and generate some kind of income for it. You talk about a PR company,
Mm?
right? There's big challenges when it comes to applications, obviously, and you're facing those as you've launched 2 weeks. The first thing is that you're going to get immediate feedback from people, right? Which is good and bad. If it comes in huge waves and you can't satisfy them, big challenge. But typically that's good. But the other thing is that findability is very, very difficult in this ecosystem where there's 400,000 applications in the App Store and you get lost a little bit. So you guys have you said you have a PR agency and then you have a social media agency that helps you with broad distribution of the message and awareness. Talk about the decision to go with a PR agency to go essentially with two PR agencies.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're using two PR companies, and they're working together with each other.
What?
One
It's
of
like,
them
it's
is
a miracle.
yeah,
Good job.
it is. One of them is called Walker Sands. They're out of Chicago. We're strictly using Chicago-based companies, and they do more of our traditional, if you can say traditional internet marketing, but they do more of like getting us involved with bigger news sources and trying to push our product out to large publications. And then our social media company it's actually called socialkaty.com. SOCIALKATY.com.
Yeah.
And what she does is she only markets to she only markets through Facebook and Twitter. And watching them like I'm on Facebook and Twitter, but I don't really know how to market myself effectively. And they do, and they're on Twitter all day long, forming relationships with more little niche areas, like niche communities, like for example, the biking community is huge in Chicago, the messenger service. So they're getting into those communities and kind of almost kind of infiltrating all those areas by just simply mucking it up with them.
Well, that's very effective because I mean, what you're talking about here, when you match these two things, is essentially what a courier would do, and bringing those two together, bringing the technology and the couriers together, is pretty disruptive. Like you could done properly, couriers are dispatched, and you could almost do away with the dispatch and give everybody independent access to a whole whack of clients if that's what they're interested in doing. Not saying that you're going to do that. But there are options like that where you could disrupt little certain niches, and it's probably a smart thing to go after them instead of saying, our target market is everybody. It's no, like, we're going to go after this subsegment, and Social Katy can help us.
Right, exactly. And yeah, and we're gonna be doing that similarly. Like it is available across the globe, but I mean, how effective? Let's say we had 3,000 users all over the place. How effective would that be? It's not effective. So what we're trying to do is establish communities and communities of users, and where we're doing that initially is in Chicago, and the weather's starting to get nice, and it's just the perfect atmosphere for this type of thing. um, with I mean we have our college program, and my brother's heading that at Miami University, but I think our real niche is within kind of like yuppie America, like young urban professionals that can just that have some time on their hands, and some that have some money on their hands.
Yeah.
And there are places like Lincoln Park in Chicago, or all the budding high rises for young professionals that we're just going to target and go after to try to generate small communities that can bud out into however big they the app shows they can get.
So, I mean, it's pretty diverse, but I mean, it's all around clusters, and universities. Students are an interesting play not only because they can be runners as well as seekers, right?
Yes.
And then, so you've got to find a cluster of people that are a certain demographic, I would say, that are going to spend an extra $10 to get something brought to them when they can do it themselves. You know, what is the PR company helped you with? Like, are they're out there like so you got Social Katie who's in the trenches with Facebook and Twitter, who are who's infiltrating, as you say, these communities of people that you want as customers, but doing it in a way that isn't like salesy, or you're not selling them. You're getting involved with them. What about the PR firm? How important is it to have a PR firm when you're trying to create awareness for a new application like this or a new service?
I think it's very important. They initially told me that they were going to coach me and tell me how to go about like doing interviews and all this stuff that I've never really come. I was a marketing major in college, but I was never really into sales or anything like that that I'm now presented with like on a daily basis. So they've been really helpful in telling me how to market myself, getting me interviews with I do interviews with college papers like all day long,
Yeah.
and whether it be over Skype or over the phone, but they've just really helped me like hone down the idea and try to be as concise as possible.
And what about so what other tactics have you used that have helped in the marketing of the product? I know it's only 2 weeks out, but what else have you done that's really been that you've found that's been effective to get the word out?
Well, we're starting tomorrow morning. Well, okay, sorry, my buddy's talking to me. We're starting tomorrow morning by going out. It's a lot of our marketing is based around, as stupid as it sounds, like the weather, and the weather hasn't been good for the last days. So why try to get people to try to give somebody a flyer for something that's free, which people never think is free off the get go.
There's always cash.
And why ask them to take out their phone and download something when their hands are cold, or when they're trying to get from point A to point B as fast as they can. But like so what we've been doing primarily right now is we have a college campaign going where there are college ambassadors across the United States that get $100 $250 per 100 people they sign up, or $500 for 250 people they sign up, and that's all tracked in our back end, and you can't trick us in any way. But that's the way that we're trying to push this across college campuses and across little communities. And
so you're going to pay them for every not every person, but they hit a threshold, and you're going to pay them an amount of money
right.
for people who sign up, download the application, sign up for the service.
Yes, because then we see those email addresses, and we see that they're associated to a specific college, and we can just tally those up.
So that's a pretty great. I mean, that's a perfect grassroots campaign, right? So how do you recruit those people, the ambassadors?
My brother goes to Miami of Ohio, and he's a junior, and he's heavily networked on Facebook, like most kids are these days.
Yeah.
And he just gathered a group of kids around the country that go to different schools, and we're sending them flyers, T-shirts, hats, and we think our logo is very cool. So we think that'll only benefit us as we move forward as well.
So
maybe it'll turn into a clothing company if it doesn't all work out.
that's right, AirRun, the clothing company. So you actually did this. So how many students are you going to be having, or how many ambassadors are you going to have?
Well, we say what I ideally want to get out of this is for college kids to formulate an interest in the project itself and kind of use it academically.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously the best case scenario is them taking it to their marketing professors, and which they have been doing a little bit, and taking it to their business schools or whatever, and saying like, hey, I want to get involved with this. How can this be formulated into our curriculum? And but right now, like, just to get it going, that's what we are doing. Is we're just
You got to seed it. You got to seed it some way, right?
Just planning it down, and what we're saying is, if you'd like to become an ambassador, if you're not already one, that all you have to do is show the slightest bit of interest and contact us on our website, and we'll get you going, because it is new, and I'm not trying to shell out $500 to a ton of people, but
it's not like I want to do it.
I haven't really started yet, so if you want to get in on it, then go ahead.
I'll sign somebody up for sure. And I mean, so these are the tactics that you're using. Anything else that you guys are using to be able to draw attention to what you're doing?
Well, we tried using YouTube, but because one of our buddies has a YouTube channel that generates like 30 million. He's gotten like 30 million hits in the past year.
Wow.
And he just like making viral videos, funny parodies, and we tried to attach those to AirRun, but the kind of correlation between wanting to watch something on YouTube and actually seeking a product is not, they don't really go hand in hand, and that didn't really work out for us. But so we're gonna do other stuff, like go around Chicago in little areas, little community building areas, and say like, would you like $5? Or, do you have an iPhone? Okay, would you like $5? All right, yeah. And then I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. Just offer little incentives here and there to get it blossoming.
So quite literally, like bumping into somebody, say, hey, like, you have an iPhone? You want to earn $5? I'm going to sit here and watch you download the app, and I'm going to pay you $5.
Yeah, a crisp 5. Yeah.
Well, you see, it's interesting because people do this, virtually. They say, like, you pay organizations to give reviews and to download applications, and they charge probably the equivalent to that. There's services that allow you to do this, but it's a little bit different when you're out there on the street actually pushing your own goods, I think, which is probably the better way to do it. It's a little bit more, it probably makes you feel a little bit better.
It makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're doing as much as you can, and it probably yields the quickest results. If I'm trying to network a community in Chicago, then I might as well be out in Chicago trying to get that done. As opposed to little workarounds and people that may get it done in another way. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think that's what you have to do. I mean, if it's a matter of putting flyers in every mailbox in the city, or if it's a matter of standing on a street corner and asking people if they have iPhones, and certainly not getting maced, and do it during the daylight so that it's you're reputable and people don't get frightened about it. So I mean, what are your hopes? Like, do you hope that this thing, obviously, that it takes off? What would you be satisfied with when it comes to kind of a user base or transactions? Like, companies like eBay do billions of dollars of transactions, but they're very profitable. But it's only a fraction of that. You really sound like you guys just want to get this into as many hands and then try to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. And I think that is what we are trying to do is just develop a huge user base and. Try to develop a huge user base, and if we can, go from there. But the idea is, it hasn't been used by anybody yet. Like in terms of other people trying the idea out, from what I've researched. So I just want to see if it can hold anything on its own, and if it can, then go from there. Yeah.
All right. So where do people find out a little bit more about you guys?
They can go to airrun.com. which that costs a little pretty penny. But
Yeah, did you buy? Yeah, interesting. Did you buy that from somebody?
I just bought it off of GoDaddy,
Oh, you did.
but I thought it was necessary. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can visit us at airrun.com, AIRRUN,
Yep.
and we have a whole overview of the application in the About section. We've got a place to download the application, and as well as some information about who's behind this whole process.
Yeah. So your reputation's up there as well.
Yeah, of course.
That's good. Well, this is great. So airrun.com, you can get it from the App Store. Are you guys coming out with, is a thought for an Android version or a BlackBerry version?
If it shows remotely any traction, we'll be porting it onto Android and BlackBerry and probably the web as well.
Yeah.
But we figure with the reason why we went mobile and not the web, I mean, web's a lot less expensive, is just because I feel like it is a mobile utility. Like I'm not gonna be using AirRun if I'm jogging with a laptop, and somebody on the beach isn't gonna be busting out their laptop to use to get a Gatorade delivered to them so that they don't miss like the hour period of tanning that they're trying to get through. But
That's
like,
true. This is definitely a mobile play.
yeah, and now that mobile is so prevalent and you can basically do anything, why not make it a mobile application? People like that. Even if it was a web app like that you could use on your mobile phone, people just like substantial, created, like customized apps, you know?
Well, I think it makes sense to me, and I think that once you settle down and you've got your next couple of releases out, you're going to start to see the business model unfold. Whether it's going to work or not, I think you'll find out very quickly. But you'll start to see the opportunities that are unfolding around how to make this a revenue generator for you if that's the way that you go. So all the best to you, Rob. I really want this to succeed, because this is kind of this could be work 3.0, couldn't it?
Hopefully, yeah, that'd be very cool.
$10 at a time. Well, I've been speaking with Rob Matthews, who's the president and CEO and one of the co-founders of AirRun. That's AIRRUN.com. Go and download the application. I think it's an interesting challenge on the way that we work, what we do with our free time, and how we can generate a little bit more revenue day to day by just helping other people out that because you're close to what they need. So airrun.com. Rob, thanks again for doing this. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks a lot for having me.
And for those of you guys who are still watching or listening to this, really appreciate what you're doing. Leave some comments at untether@gmail.com, and I will endeavor to respond, as I always do. And thank you again for watching. That's another episode of Untether done.